Hi everyone and welcome to 2021 where life is still I used to love doing chatty videos and I feel like I've not done a chatty video apart from vlogs for so long, and I thought I would kick off the new year with a Q&A. I asked you guys to ask me some questions on Facebook and Instagram and you came through, you delivered, girl. I hope that you're good, I hope that you're doing well. I know that all of us are in completely different circumstances with the way our country's running right now and the pandemic, so I just really sincerely hope that everyone is keeping it together and staying strong. We just have to look onto the future and really look forward to things that are coming up for us. I've screenshotted the questions and here we go. What have you tried that you never want to try again? I might sound like a baby and I'm dressed the colour of one right now, but I did try Sprouts when I was younger and I swore that I would never ever try them again. What product would you stock up on if you found out it was not going to get sold again? Also, don't judge my janky phone, by the way. It's cracked in all the places. Ooh, two, I've got two. One would be mascara, because without mascara I look like a bald rat. And another would be deodorant, any kind of deodorant, whether it be roll-on or spray, because I don't want to stink. In your opinion, what makes a person a hero? A hero to me is someone who is selfless and who loves to do acts of kindness for other people that don't benefit them in any way. Which is your favourite Powerpuff Girl? I have always loved Bubbles, I think her name is, the blonde one. What's one thing that you would tell your younger self? To stop caring about what anyone else thinks, because in the end it really doesn't matter and life is going to get better. Hold on, stick on in there, just take every single day as it comes. Trust that everything happens for a reason and life will lead you to exactly where you're meant to be at exactly the right time. Do you have your wedding dress yet? Sneak peek? I can't give you a sneak peek because well, I can't even say why, but I think that the dress is kind of guessable once you've seen one part of it, so I can't give you a sneak peek. I don't have my dress in my possession just yet, but it has come into the store and I am just waiting for lockdown to lift so that I can go and try it on and have my fittings. I haven't tried it on for a year and 3 months, so I've just been looking at pictures ever since we bought the dress and I'm super excited to go back and try it on. What is your favourite emoji? I have quite a few, so I'm gonna see what my last used one was and we're gonna have to go with that. Oh, my last used emoji was the crying face. I do think that I use this one quite a lot. I use all the ones with hearts, so like heart eyes, blowy kissy heart, face with hearts around it. A place you've never travelled to but want to go. I would love to go to Bali. It just looks so serene and incredible. I know a lot of people that have been to Bali that rave about it and love it, and I also know the same amount of people who said Bali was not for them, not their cup of tea, and that you have to go to the right places to get these idyllic pictures that people capture. So yeah, I would love to go to Bali and anywhere else in America, as always. I really want to visit New York. We are thinking about booking a New York holiday next year. We weren't able to go to Florida when we were supposed to in April 2020, and the borders are still closed. We have actually booked Disney World and that same holiday for our honeymoon in October, but that's with my mum and dad, and we are going to go to a spa after the wedding so that we get time, just the two of us as husband and wife. But yeah, then we're using our Disney World holiday then, and then hopefully we're going to book New York for January 2022. When did you know you were in love? I think there is a big difference between love and lust, and at first the line is kind of blurry, but I think that you get to a point where you start to pick up on certain things that people do, like Mike plays with his hair all the time, he doesn't pull up the bedding in the morning, he leaves it like folded down where he's got out of bed. He does loads of little things that I notice now that I didn't at the start. Like at the start it's just honeymoon period and obsession. We still have that now, but all these little things that I've noticed about him that really annoy you, you realise are the things that you would miss more than anything about that person. So being in love, I think that you know when you are in love. I don't think you have to question it, and I just think it takes time for you to really settle into the relationship, and that's when you realise. What is your favourite book that you have recently read, if any? Much love to you and your family in these confusing times, and much love right back to you, Bonnie. I hope that you and your family are all doing as well as can possibly be. Right, me and books. Me and books have a very funny relationship. I totally get the love that people have for books, and I myself can read a book and I create the imagery in my head and I think of the characters myself, and I do love doing that and going into another world, but life feels too chaotic to read. And I know that might sound silly, but My brain doesn't give me enough downtime for me to just sit and take in words. Maybe I sound dumb, but I would much rather sit and watch a documentary. However, I have read, well, I've read one book recently, and I've started another book that have changed a lot of the way I am and the way I behave for the better. Totally not ad, not sponsored or anything like that. A book that has changed my life recently, and that's ironic because of the title, is this book by Sarah Knight. It's got a bit of a naughty title, and it's called The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a... And it's basically a book that teaches you how to care less about unimportant things, or not to worry about a text that you want to send, or just stupid things that you might get yourself worked up about and trying to please everyone. It's not possible, and this book helped me become a lot harder in myself, and it's kind of taught me that it's okay to say no to people. So yeah, I would definitely recommend this book if it sounds like your cup of tea. Maybe check it out, read the blurb and see what you think. Another book that I've just started reading, I'm about 2 chapters in, is Mad Girl by Bryony Gordon, and it's to do with mental health and OCD and anxiety and depression and things like that, and I'm finding it really interesting reading about someone else's journey. It has the highest ratings. My best friend recommended it to me and she bought it me for Christmas, which was a really nice surprise. It makes light of things that can feel really dark and suppressive at times for you as an individual, and I really like them because of that. What 3 Disney things you would take with you on a deserted island? That's a good one. I would take Ariel's voice, because as stupid as that might sound, singing is one of my favourite things to do. That would probably pass a lot of time for me. Does it have to be things or can it be people? If it could be people, I'd take Rapunzel with me because she does everything. She's got so many skills, she knows exactly what to do to pass time, and I just think she'd be a lot of fun to be on a deserted island with. Oh, I've just got the mother of all things. I would take Aladdin's genie lamp and I would wish that I was back on planet Earth and not on a deserted island. My lovely friend Emma said, please can we do a show together again when theatres are back? Yes, yes please, let's do another show together, because Emma is one of the sweetest people in the world, so down to earth, so genuine, and just a really, really fun and positive person to be around. I hope you're watching this, girl. What are your goals / plans for 2021? It's kind of tough to say at the moment, obviously given the pandemic and the sort of pause button that it puts on everything. I would have loved to attend another Disney activity and event because that was just so much fun, and there is no company in this world that I would love to work with more than Disney. I know that's really hard to believe. I'm getting married this year. It was supposed to be in April, which is crazy because that's less than 3 months away that it was going to be our wedding. What? And then we pushed it back. We decided to push it back to September, late September, so that we had plenty of time for the vaccine to be distributed quite widely, and summer will have been and people will have been outside more, so less spreading of the virus, and hopefully the world will be in a much, much better place and restrictions will be limited and we can have our family and friends and everyone that we love there with us. And we don't actually want that many people there. We only want 50 in the day and then about 80 at night, 80 to 90 at night. And we've just got to keep our fingers crossed for all of the lovely brides set to get married before then. I'm keeping everything crossed, and I do think that weddings will return to somewhat normal soon with the vaccine. Lucy said, who is your favourite nephew? This is very important. My favourite nephew would have to be Corby. He's a dog that I walk. I'm joking, I walk Lucy's dog and Lucy's dog is beautiful. I will insert a picture somewhere on screen. I'm sure that he is going to go wild for his shout out. Zeus has a little bedroom actually that Lucy has done for him. And he's got wallpaper with bones all over it, and he's got a lovely little bed. He's got a little door, it's like a gated door, and there is a picture frame of me and Zeus on the wall. So I will say that my favourite nephew in the entire world would have to be Zeus. Do you want children in the future? Yes, very much so. Me and Mike have talked about this many, many times, and we would love to try and start a family in the not too distant future. I get dead excited when I think about that. We also want to buy a house though, and that is what is next on our list. We're saving right now. And I thought that I'd save the deepest question till last, which is 2 people asked very similar things. Lillian said, how do you cope with pandemic anxiety? And Phoebe Howard said, mental health update. It's been a tough year for everyone, and I'm no exception. My mental health was okay, and I dealt with it quite well in the first lockdown especially. I found things that made me happy, and I kept myself busy with activities, I did have, the longer the pandemic went on, I did start to feel very in my head. And what are the words? I started to feel quite like it was never going to end, and I felt very down about the future, and pessimistic, I guess, is one of the words. But my anxiety remained fine, largely. When we were allowed to play out again and go into restaurants and things and go shopping, I was quite unaffected. A little bit at first, but my anxiety overall was great. Second lockdown happened in the UK in November, or England. Sometimes it's been an England thing, sometimes it's been a whole of the UK thing, I lose track. But yeah, the second lockdown was for a month, and it was in November of 2020. And that was a bit harder because it was dark, it was winter, it was cold, you couldn't see friends outside because we were initially in the first lockdown. Oh no, we weren't allowed to see anyone in the first lockdown. But in the November lockdown, we were allowed to meet one other person outside. There's been so many rules and it's so muddy, and I just forget which lockdown was which and which tier was which rule, and because we have tiers now in England, in the UK. I think it's in the UK, I have no idea. I think Scotland have a different tier system to us, probably Ireland have a different one, Wales too, I have no idea anymore. In November I did have a few weaker patches where I started working myself up and I was being sick in the night again. Again, once lockdown lifted I was fine, I was going out and about and I was unaffected in that way, with my mask on and staying very social distanced from everyone around me. I am that person that if you stand just ahead of the sticker that you're supposed to be stood on, so you're just like an inch closer to me than you should be, I'll be looking at you like this. Yeah, and then in December I developed strange ways of thinking. I don't want to go into it, I don't know enough about it to go into it yet, but I started to suffer minorly with OCD, and I hate putting tags on these things, and I just feel like sometimes it's too easy to put names on things, and people say that they have things when they don't have things. It kind of became like a trend to have a mental illness, which for the people who don't really suffer with mental illness, that kind of irks me, because I obviously really suffered with anxiety in my teenage years particularly, and my sort of early 20s actually. I'm 25 now, guys. I'm 26 this year. Anyway, I started to feel really down and very pessimistic again. But this was different this time. I started to feel very doom and gloom, like nothing could make me happy. Like Mike always makes me happy, Bilbo makes me happy, my family make me happy. But I think I just felt very suffocated by the world, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. Again, I started feeling like this is never going to end, this is never going to get better. And my anxiety, this is what I think happened, my anxiety started manifesting in other ways and other areas of my brain, because again, I could still go out and have a meal, I was fine, I wasn't affected that way. My brain took me to some really dark places in December. Actually, on Christmas Day, I was still really bad. And the week after Christmas I was awful, and I actually took it upon myself to sort it out. I thought, I'm getting married this year, this is an abnormal time to be alive in, like to live through this pandemic is crazy, you know, there's no right or way wrong. What? There's no right or way wrong. What? There's no right or wrong way to do it. We're just all kind of like dealing with it and trying to get through it, I think, trying to get to the other side. And like now we can see a light at the end of the tunnel, and I think everyone is like, let's just get there, let's just get to spring, do what we need to do until spring, because we're in another lockdown. Lockdown 3. So yeah, I took it upon myself to say, right, before this gets any worse, it might not, but before it potentially could get worse, I've been in a terrible mental health state before that I struggled to get back from, so let's sort this out. So I did. I put some phone calls in. I'm gonna keep this part of my journey to myself for now. I will share it when I feel I have learned enough about my head and what it's going through. I've not started yet, but I will be having therapy again starting this month. Telephone therapy, and I hate the telephone. Am I 91? Why did I just say telephone? I'm really glad that I'm not feeling anxious. I'm not feeling worried about going on journeys, because travel was one of my big anxieties in the past. I'm not feeling worried about going into a restaurant to eat. I'm not feeling worried about seeing friends and things like that. So this is definitely very different, but it's just manifesting strangely, and I can't quite work out why I was feeling so numb and broken. It just kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, I say that, but it obviously came from the pandemic. But it still feels like, why did I go so long until December without really suffering at all, or November? So anyway, yeah, I am back on my medication as well, which at first felt like a step back and a bit of a defeat, but it is what it is, guys. Like, I'm not ashamed of it, and you know, we need to normalise and remove the stigma of mental health still, because some people are still extremely ignorant, and of medication, of taking medication for these things, because like, catch up, like, this is the world we live in. If you need a crutch or some kind of support to help you get back on track, then overall I am doing great and I'm feeling much better than I was last month, and I'm motivated, which I wasn't last month at all. I didn't want to do anything, I didn't really want to focus on anything or watch TV, I couldn't give something my attention, I felt like I wasn't being a good fiance or daughter or friend because I wasn't replying to anyone's messages. I just went to a very lonely and kind of strange place, but I'm definitely doing miles better than I was, and I'm filming a Q&A, which again, I texted my mum and I was like, I've put my camera battery on charge, I've set my camera up, my ring light's ready to go, I've had a shower, because sometimes when you feel quite low, every step is a big deal and you need to reward yourselves for the small things. But by no means am I struggling. I'm telling you this because I feel like a lot of people might be able to relate. I'm not struggling, I'm okay. My head's a bit bleh again, but we're all human and we're not perfect. And I just think if you haven't suffered mentally from the pandemic, then amazing, like, go you. I'm so happy for you, genuinely, like, that's amazing. And that shows how strong you are. But then equally, if you have suffered mentally as a result of the pandemic, then you're amazing, you're human. You've just dealt with a really awful situation that we've all been forced to live through, and no one asked for it, no one knows how to get through it, they're just trying their best, and that's all that we can do. However you are doing right now and however you're dealing, you are amazing. I also think that people definitely need to give themselves a break. There are people who are going through absolute heartbreak right now as a result of the pandemic, and I'm so sorry if there's anyone watching this that has lost someone from COVID-19. I can't even imagine the pain that you must have been through. It must be the most horrendous thing in the world, because all these people who were otherwise okay maybe had a few issues, but things that weren't really affecting them, underlying health conditions, they've been taken from us way too soon. Unbelievable. I'm sending so much love to you. And then I also want to say that, you know, I think about those people and I think, oh, they are going through this, and how could you even think about ever going through something like that? And my problems aren't half as big compared to theirs. But that's okay, like, your feelings are still valid, and your problems are still problems to you, and that's okay too. Everyone's feelings are valid. Don't feel selfish for feeling sad about something. If you had a holiday cancelled, if you turned 30 or 18 or 21 or 40 or 50 or 60 and had a big birthday during this whole pandemic, if you weren't able to celebrate it, everyone's feelings are valid, basically, and I just think that we all need to love each other 10 million times more when this is all over, and it will be over, and it will be over very soon. I have no doubt we're going to look back in 3-4 months time and go, we did it. That's the hope. That is all the questions that I'm going to answer for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, because I haven't done a Q&A, or as I said, a chatty video for a very long time. So I hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me as much as I did, talking to you guys and chilling with you and reading all of your questions. I'm sending everybody positivity and strength to get through whatever you need to get through right now. Hang on in there, guys. I love you very much, and I will see you in my next video.